You became a psychic. Just imagine. You wake up in the morning and think like, oh, I have to tell my buddy. So you scoot over to his house, start banging on the door, and yelling like, hey, is anybody here? And still banging on the door. So he opens up the door and you just blast him. Bro, like craziest thing happened. I woke up today and I have psychic powers, bro. Like it's crazy. And he's just standing there with a 1,000-yard stare. It's 5 a.m. Well, that's exactly what happened to me after seeing how well my last video did, so I figured why not to test out my newly acquired psychic abilities in Fallout New Vegas. Well, after I woke up from my brain update nap, I sat down and had to tell Doc Mitchell my name. This was probably the most important and thought out detail about this video so far, and let me give you just a few honorable mentions. Professor Brainzap, the Cranial Cowboy, Lord Foresight, Dale from the Beyond, Doug with ESP, and last but not least, the Two-Fingered Oracle. But I settled down on the Fingerbender because I thought this gave the best representation of the character we're playing today. What is a Psychic Pistol, you might ask yourself? Psychic Pistol is a Fallout New Vegas mod that gives you the ability to shoot things with your fingers. So as far as I'm aware, this weapon damage only scales depending on character level, so I have no idea if any of the perks work for this gun. Now, special stats. I just more or less focused on health and intelligence, because I plan to pick some energy weapon perks, if they even exist. FYI, there were none. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I don't really have the best knowledge of this game. All I knew for this challenge that I needed to pick Wild Wasteland because it's mandatory. Otherwise, you can't pick the perk to get the actual weapon. And getting this bad boy requires level 2. My tag skills were energy weapons, for no apparent reason, medicine, and speech. I chose speech because I thought I might use it, to level up. But that didn't even help me at the start. For traits, I picked Build to Destroy, thought this might help, because I read that using your fingers for shooting does not have an impact, I guess, on your hand condition? And I picked Wild Wasteland for obvious reasons. So, as soon as I finished ransacking Doc Mitchell's house for supplies, I got rid of all of the weapons and armor because I thought if I can't use it, I'm not allowed to sell it. My first idea was that I'm gonna do Goodsprings Fight Night as a pacifist, but the problem was I can't use the Vermint rifle Sonny gives you to shoot the balls to get the quest. So I had to take the matters into my own hands and level up different way. My brilliant psychic mind came up with a single idea, which was heading into the direction of Prim, stopping by every location on my way just to snag the XP. But once I got there, I don't know how and why I came up with the idea of running into the casino while I have nothing to defend myself. But on my way back, I managed to provoke a gunfight between escaped convicts and this unfortunate soul. He didn't do too bad. He managed to take out 2 of the 3 convicts before he took his last breath. After acquiring a fresh set of NCR armor, which I definitely didn't loot off the corpse of someone who just saved me, I came up with a plan. Head to the nearest NCR camp and see if I could pick up a quest. When I got there, some guy was dramatically pointing at something into the distance. I couldn't quite tell what it was, but it seemed important. Probably. Aside from that, nothing particularly notable happened. So I made my way south. I wanted to mark the patrol station by the road, but before even getting near it, I was attacked by a feral ghoul. So you can probably work out yourself what happened next. Waking up from a bad dream, I had a clever idea to sneak on the other side of the road, which worked. After that, I marked the road rest stop building, got chased by 4 scorpions, and made my way to the Mojave outpost. There I took the liberty of scouting out Nipton for Ranger Ghost, and I have an idea how she got her name. Now, since I have the intelligence of 9 but brain size of a peanut, that means I'm quite smart for my brain volume. But it doesn't mean I don't make stupid mistakes, because once I got to Nipton, I was instantly attacked by Legion. What's the reason? I hear, It was because Mr. Smarty Pants forgot to take his NCR uniform. Once I realized my honest mistake, I used all of my brain power to travel back in time, and I made sure I changed my outfit before I appeared in front of a legion. After hearing out what Mr. Vulva has to say, I made my way back to Ranger Ghost and inform her of what's happening in Nipton. Do you smell some kind of team here? Smells a lot like rat. Anyways, and for some reason, once I leveled up and took the perk, I didn't get the gun. I'd foreseen that this might happen, so I made a backup save, but when I reloaded, for some reason there was a trader with his Brahmin on the roof. I have no idea how that could have happened, but that's not the worst part. Once I checked in with Major Knight, I wanted to see how my pistol looked in my fit, and there he was, standing there, struggling. Ah, what a sad day for this innocent creature. After that, I wiped my tears, got back my composure, and went back to Good Springs. At first, I was concerned if Sunny would take me serious with my newly acquired gun, but somehow and some way, she rewarded my efforts of trying to shoot bottles with imaginary pistol.
Well, that's a start. But I don't reckon you came to me to learn to fight sarsaparilla bottles.
For damn sure I wasn't. I was so happy and I wanted to try out my gun. I stepped back into the saloon, and who's standing there? Oh, isn't that my old friend Joe Cobb? And then I take my first bullet, and he flies across the saloon. That's a miracle. Then he flew back, and I basically turned him into internal paste. Just like last time, I riled up as much people as I could, including ransacking Doc Mitchell for supplies, and the fight was super easy. So once I brought justice to Good Springs, my telekinetic bloodthirst for law and order brought me back to Prim, to show him who's the boss now. Once I cleared the town, I made sure we picked the right kind of sheriff. So I made my way to Major Knight again, told him that Prim needed some reinforcements, and got confirmation from Lieutenant Hayes that townfolk is now going to pay taxes. Nothing's free nowadays. I think you might get by now that this run I'm leaning towards signing with NCR. I just thought it would be funny to play as delusional super soldier. Moving on, I finally had the chance to clean out Nevada's patrol station from Jackal members. And to be fair, I didn't think that this pistol is going to be good against more than one enemy, but I guess they're low-level enemies now, and we'll see how it goes later. On my way to Novak, nothing really interesting happened. My visit there took 3 minutes. I went to Limping Old Hag's motel, picklocked the safe, spoke to Boone, told her to get out, showed Boone the bill, and left. Since I'm helping NCR this time around, I thought I might help the hostage situation in Nelson. And I had the chance to pick the best option in conversation possible. Honestly, Nelson cleansing went well. I managed to one-shot the first Legion soldier, but after that it went downhill somewhat, when I started losing reputation and more of them joined, but it still didn't give me a lot of trouble. After that endeavor, I continued my journey to Vegas. On my way there, I stopped by Helios 1 to mark it on my map. No clue, to be fair, if I will ever need it. But free XP doesn't hurt. I changed my difficulty to hard as well, and stopped to kill ants, which went well. And now let me tell you about my hardest encounter so far. You're not gonna believe this. Bighorners. I couldn't believe my eyes, there were so many of them. When I started it was okay. I was laughing my ass off while they were flipping off the rocks. But midpoint of the battle, and one of them got a good hit on me. And they just started piling. They literally gave me the taste of my own medicine. Holy shit. I think I got traumatized for life. Like, that's what I mean. This gun might have a fun ability to drop them on the ground, but if there's like 10 enemies, I just can't get all of them. You can get overwhelmed so fast. So after this crazy experience, I stopped by gun runners. And let me just show you the clip, without any context. Mr. Robot, naughty, naughty boy, naughty, naughty. This game never ceased to amaze me. After these wild 10 minutes, I needed something relaxing. So I bought my way into Vegas and headed off to Gamora to spend some quality time at the blackjack table. And while we're doing Gamba, let me ask you a question. What's the next challenge you would like to see me try? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you. Last time, I was really angry at Gamora. Maybe they're not so bad. They did shower me with gifts.
Looks like someone.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
They even gave me a set of combat armor. And I'm sitting here thinking I'm gonna go on a killing spree?
That's some shit right there. Come out. I just want to talk.
And one thing to note, I actually forgot to exchange my chips before starting a whole fight. Well, after cleaning my magical hands with baby wipes, I wanted to stop by the Tops and say hi to Benny.
What in the goddamn?
Which went good. I took the liberty of giving a long nap to a bodyguard upstairs, and somehow Benny's bodyguards weren't close by him, so I mind-zapped him from upstairs, and nobody really cared why he was just chilling in the corner. And after this quick meet and greet, I got invited to join the NCR. And so I did. The first job I had to do for NCR was convince boomers to work with them. Now look at this handsome fellow. At first I thought just to kill them off, but my big brain instincts told me to help them out, and I'm so glad I did. Because after Loyal asked me to raise the bomber from the bottom of the lake, I took the most straightforward route. I got chased by 4 Deathclaws, and since that was enough to take me down, I got attacked by casters as well. But after they got bored of chasing me, I watched them fight amongst themselves. So, Deathclaws were the winners, but I'm not sure if we can call this one a winner, because after killing the last caster, I think he tripped over a rock and died. After that I took a dive, raised the bomba, and told Loyal my job was done. Reporting back to level 1 Crook, remember those ads? He tasked me with killing Pesa, the King's Guard. I didn't want to do all of that squashing the beef between Kings and NCR again, so I resorted to working for Vangraffs. During the day, Pacer walks by the shop, and since he got so close to me, I sent out some 5G DDoS gigapacks to his peanut brain to make him attack me. And after dealing with him, I took my pay for honest day's work and told Ambassador Crackhead about my good deed. And you wouldn't believe it, he told me that I have a fan. That is crazy! On my way to Hoover Dam, I admit I got a little distracted. I took another detour to visit Boulder City, and since I already helped out hostages in Nelson, I decided I want to help out here as well. But when I tried to enter the ruins, my game crashed. Twice. And since we all know that third time's a charm, I'm pleased to tell you that the same principle works here as well. But what doesn't work is my brain thinking that I can just walk straight to the hostages without getting attacked. I don't really know what happened, but I guess no negotiations this time around. Well, after that, I went to meet the fan, took a picture, and I was on my way to see what to do with cans. I took the same route as last run, but this time around I didn't want to inspect my insides without an X-ray, so I took a safer path. And then all of a sudden I got attacked by Nevada's notorious stormtrooper. I'll have to show you the video. In 52 shots, he landed 2. The rest of the journey to Cannes was not that interesting. I just saw 2 groups debating which is the better shot. Once I arrived there, I spoke with Regis. He told me that if their leader died, he might be persuaded to fight for NCR. So after Papa died from most likely, diarrhea, I managed to close the deal. And I think I see my psychic mind working, because I didn't have to say anything for them just to wipe the floor with Carl. Talk about telepathy, am I right? Now, the lady fan wanted me to win the 2281 annual Psychic Cup. It was held at the Lucky 38 casino this year, and my opponent was some wrinkly dude locked in a box. But once I got him out of the goon chamber, he was no big deal. After this endeavor, with the cup in my hands, I thought I wanted to find my long-lost family. Few hours ago on my travels, I felt something at 188 Trading Post, and I thought my brainwaves connected with something. And there he was, sitting, a psychic boy. So, naturally, I paid him 100 caps to tell me about myself, which I already knew, but had to be sure that he knew what I knew about myself, that he wasn't a fraud. And I guess he wasn't. I didn't really understand his number thing he talked about, but oh well. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, remember what I said 11 minutes and 40 seconds ago. Well, anyways, I got tasked with removing Brotherhood from the face of Nevada, and I thought, why not give it a shot? And began buying out as much stimpaks as I possibly could, and without wasting any time, I entered the Hidden Valley bunker. At first I thought I'm definitely not gonna make it. I struggled with the greeting squad upstairs. They tried their best to hit me where it hurts the most. The big forehead. But once I finished them off, I crossed myself and stepped into the Brotherhood main bunker. There I got surprised by the fact that I two-shot a paladin in full power armor. That was crazy. But my mortal enemies were the turrets. I had to jiggle them and use VATS as much as I could because they were packing really heat. After finishing my 5-minute peekaboo session with Turret, I enter Elder's room, flung his guard across it, and make another unfortunate Brotherhood member slide in and out of reality. Then I got piled by a bunch of scientists. Man, science always been hating on people like me.
Hello there.
After killing every breathing organism there, I wanted to see what they're on about. So I peeked at one of the terminals and misclicked on self-destruction button. Oh well. And with that, the Brotherhood population in Nevada was decreased to 0 by a man with imaginary pistol dressed like a Power Ranger. I think with this, we've started to ascend to another plane of reality. Because when I got back to Hoover Dam, I was told to report back to Ranger Grant. And my boys started melting.
We've got a lot to do to... Bye. I've heard of you.
After he got back to his senses and informed me that the president is arriving soon, I used my Infiltrator Locator 3 to scan the area, and I picked up a signal that an NCR Ranger got pushed over the edge. I quickly made my way to the tower and used psychological pressure on the suspect, which made him drop the act. When I neutralized the target, I reported my findings and used seduction to gain access to President's Vertibird. There I found an explosive planted with Gorilla Duct Tape on one of the wings and skillfully removed it. Then, so-called engineer tried to stab the President in front of 10 fully armed men. I think you know how that ends. Because by the time I make my way down the ladder, the President is already leaving. With that, my friends, we single-handedly ruined Caesar's day. But don't think that we're about to stop here, because we still have a chance to ruin his birthday party too. So, the push through Hoover Dam itself wasn't anything crazy, since I had a lot of help from soldiers. They were good meat shields. However, Leggett's camp was a whole different story. I really tried to hand it like a real man, one against the whole army. But I'm sorry to say that I've tried more times than I care to admit. So, after dying over and over and over and over and over and over again, I had to resort to speech and make Leggett fight one-on-one, which made the fight piece of cake. So yeah, brain-powered gun failed me at the last possible second. But anyways, After this anticlimactic ending to the fight, I spoke to General Oliver, finishing the game and proving that yes, you can beat Fallout New Vegas as delusional super warrior. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any suggestions or feedback, let me know down in the comments below. And until next time, when I start tingling the ball.